Okay, welcome to this quick tutorial of Claude, which is actually my personal favorite language model. I'm going to give you a rundown of the functionality that's available within the browser version of Claude. There is two. There is the browser version, and you can download an app onto your machine as well. We will have a separate video for that because there's additional functionality available. Claude is excellent with sort of working and workflows and being able to get things done really effectively, very consistently. I find that I get the best results from Claude, which is why it's our go-to. Absolutely fantastic model, and it does integrate into a lot of things as well. So I'm going to go through the functionality as mentioned and just kind of give you an idea of what's possible. We're not doing a deep dive into anything in particular. This is just to show you what's available within Claude, and we're also going to talk about how you turn off training Claude's model. So we're going to go through this now. So as you can see, we're in a new chat. So if I open up this little sidebar here, we've got all of our recents that are available there, and you've got new chat. Now there's a lot of functionality available within new chat, and when you request certain things, it will use different types of functionality. And what I mean by that is you've got something called the artifact, which is very similar to the canvas and some of the other tools that are available, and similar to pages. However, you can't actually edit it within there. So if I want something like a visualization, these are very powerful. I can say, show me a visualization of how an LLM, a large language model such as Claude, is trained, right? Because what it will do now is within the chat, it can actually create a really comprehensive visualization of various different things, and you can play with those visualizations as well. And what I mean is you can change settings. So if you ask for it to show you various different things like, I don't know, mortgage calculator, it can build you a mortgage calculator directly within here, and then you'll be able to amend and play with that as well. So that's actually one of the examples that I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, create me a mortgage calculator. Right, so I'm going to ask it to create me a mortgage calculator. I'm going to click enter on that. We're going to come back to it in just a second. As you can see, it's creating me a visualization right within here. Once that's done, I can actually export that and I can use that in lots of different ways. Really, really cool. So if I come back to a new chat, that's essentially what we're going to do. I'm going to go back to those in just a second. I'm going to walk through the functionality that's available down here, and then we're going to jump into a chat and we're going to see some more stuff that you can do directly within Claude. Search, pretty self-explanatory. You can search for all your chats, right? Customize, so you can customize Claude, so you can connect it to your apps and you can create new skills. Skills are amazing, right? So what they've done is they've essentially set it up so that you can create something called a skill, and a skill essentially is a set of instructions for a specific task. Now the really cool thing about this, while we can create projects and we can create GPTs, agents, whatever you want to call them, that run a specific task, when you've got skills, multiple skills, means you can go into a chat and you can say, use this skill to do X, Y, and Z. So as an example, we've got a skill that is our AI Guys brand guidelines, and it has all of the information in there. So if I come to a normal chat, and this is how Claude has worked, right? You see how simple it is on the left here. There's not loads of options here. They're keeping it really, really clean, really, really simple, because that means if I ever need to do anything, I can essentially do it within the chat as well. So if I press /, I've got all of the options within there. I can add the chat to a project. We'll go through projects in just a second. And you've got all the different skills that we've got here as well. So what I can say, using the AI Guys brand skill, create a presentation on AI governance, right? Because it's already built in, what you'll see is Claude will say, right, I'm accessing the skill, and it's going to do that. And the skill is essentially a markdown file. So it's a simple file, and it just says, here's a set of instructions. This is what's on there. And I'm going to show you where to find those as well, right? So we're going to go through down here. So you've got standard chats and you've got projects. So I'm going to click into projects as well, right? So we can see that. And a project is essentially the same as, you know, with other models as well. And to give you a rundown of what that is a project is going to fulfill a specific task every single time, right? So you saw that some of the ones we've got on there are like statement of work creator, proposal builders, and you would just basically go for, let's call it a proposal builder 2.0, because I've probably already got one of those. You can put a description in there. For this instance, I'm not going to put it there. And what you'll see is the ability to add instructions. So I can give it detailed instructions of what I want it to do, add files, and then as you work with it, it stores memory. So it starts to understand how to respond. You can share this as well. You can edit the details. You can archive and delete it as well, right? So you can actually share this. So what this means is, if you're having a chat with Claude or whichever language model that you're using, and you're regularly using that chat to fulfill that task, that's at some point you're going to need to create a project or a GPT or a gem, whatever platform you're in, you're going to want to create an instance of it that does that same task every single time. So you don't have to keep retraining a conversation, and then you're not going to hit those limits as well. So when you hit, and it's potential that somebody watching this is going to have hit some of those limits where it says you've hit the maximum amount of content available within this chat, and then you have to start again, right? Very frustrating. At that point, you want to create project, and it's going to do that same thing again. So good examples are stuff like a marketing assistant or a recipe builder, proposal builders, kind of meeting notes analysis or anything like that. You can get it to produce that, and then within each one of these, you can use all of the other functionality available there as well. Okay, and then you can actually get Claude to produce you a skill. So, and again, we'll dive deeper into this, but if you want to produce a skill for your brand, you can say, create me a skill for my brand, ask me all the questions you need answered, and then it will build you out the skill, and you can take that file and you can upload it, right? So I'm going to move further down. So we've gone to projects. Essentially, that is just a set of instructions on top of Claude, same thing over and over again, nice and simple. Artifacts, now this is really, really cool. Whether or not you'll need to use this, I don't know, but essentially an artifact is something that you can build that then, like the mortgage calculator, for example. So if we've got the mortgage calculator, this can essentially be turned into an artifact, right? And then you can use that at any point, right? So we've got that here. If I click these little three buttons here, I can save it as an artifact. If I do that, that is then going to become available in artifacts. And it's things like your visuals, your graphs, things that you can see to sort of amend and tweak, right? So as you can see, I can put the property value in there. I can put the deposit in there, repayment, interest only. I've got all of these functionalities, and it's built it as an interactive mortgage calculator that I can use. And if I want to, I can download the file, right? So if I download the file, you'll see that it's HTML. If I download that, I can actually open that up in my browser. It's very badly formatted. The way to get around that is just to basically tell it it's not been formatted for the browser and just say, can you do it in the artifact? So I'm going to do that to show you what that looks like. I'll say, when it comes back, we'll come back to this in just a second, but that's essentially what an artifact is. Nice and easy. When you want to build some sort of tool, you can put it into Claude as an artifact, and then you can come in and you can use that, right? And they've got loads of pre-built ones that you can test and see and mess around with and customize and do a lot more with. So Claude is incredibly powerful. Then you've got Claude Code, which is going to open up in a new browser. That's if you want to build something. Claude is one of the best coding models available as well. But these the kind of main functionalities that you're going to need. We're going to come back to the chat. Loads of functionality in there that we still need to explore. I'm going to click in here and we're going to talk about what's available in here. So you've got your settings, choose your language. You can get help, upgrade your plan if you want to, get apps and extensions, gift Claude, learn more, right? So pretty basic stuff. But you've got all of those other things available. And the really great thing about Claude is there's some amazing tutorials. There's courses directly within here. So you can go in and you can get very, very well versed on Claude and how to use it and become an expert. We will have a lot of these videos available as well. But you can see some of those in here. And if you are building via the API, which is connecting through the back of the directly to the language model, you can do that from here as well. So lots of functionality available. So I'm going to click into settings. And then we can go through all of the things that you can see directly within here. So you've got general settings, my name, operations, what it is that I do. I can choose whether it's dark theme, light theme, font styles, etc. Go into the account. Again, pretty basic stuff. Tells you where I'm logging in. Privacy. Now, this is the important one. So as standard, it's actually turned on. So this one here, which says help improve Claude. If that's turned on, that essentially means that it's going to be using those conversations to train up Claude's model. And actually it's turned on by default now. So what you need to do, unless you are on a Teams version, what you need to do is you need to review the terms of services and just see whether or not you're happy with that. But generally speaking, I tend to come in and turn that off so that my conversations aren't training Claude. And then you've got billing, you've got usage, and then you've got capabilities. Now, this one's really cool. As I mentioned, you can do search and reference chats. So if you've got previous chats, you can do that. Generate memory from your chat, and you've got your memory document that you can go in and edit as well. So it will have stored memory on you on all of your conversations. It gets better and better at responding to you. And you can edit that directly within here, and you can turn it on and off, which is great. And then you can even import memory from other providers. So if you're going to move from GPT to Claude, for example, which a lot of people are doing at the moment, understandably so, Claude is amazing. You can go ahead and do that, right? And then you've got tool access, load tools when needed, which is what I've got set up. Tools are already loaded, but it can basically compact more often because there's a lot more information on there. So just load it when it's needed. That's going to work best. That's things like your skills and all the rest of that as well. Yeah, so I've got artifacts turned on here, AI-powered artifacts, inline visualizations. So that's, as I've just shown you, so mortgage calculator, that's an inline visualization here. We're going to come back to that, but that's to see it within Claude, directly, right? So I'm going to come back in here. We're going to continue through these settings. Code execution, so it's got all of that stuff there, and then skills, go to customize, which we'll do in just a second. You've got connectors. You can connect up Google Drive, which I have, GitHub, which I have. You can connect your Gmail in there and it can review emails. And then what I've also done is I've connected Make and you can do custom connectors as well. And I believe Make has recently set themselves up. Yep, here we go. So here are all of the connections that are available. Make is one of ours that we use. I believe it's in there now directly. So what that means is if you've ever used Make or an automation platform, you can click on that, connect it up, and it will be able to use various automations within there directly from Claude. Fantastic bit of kit. Same as with GPT and other ones. You've also got Miro, Vercel, like there's loads and loads, N8N as well. So there's loads and loads of connectors directly within here using something called MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. That means it's going to call that particular tool, make something happen, bring you the information back into Claude, making it available for you to just use Claude to kind of execute a lot of these tasks, right? It's becoming a lot more actionable and it's doing a lot more than it previously did. It's really, really amazing what's possible. Claude Code, again, mess around with that if you want. You can build different things, and then you've got Claude in Chrome as well. So we're going to come back to customize. We're going to look at skills. I'm going to show you what I mean. So we've got the different skills there, and if you click into it, you can see it is literally just a markdown file, and it explains what the presentation is, when to use this skill, core presentation philosophy. That is literally what it is. So it will review that document, it will review that file, and then it will execute that. Really, really amazing. And then again, connectors, same situation. I did this before Make was available, but you can connect quite a lot of different things to it, as you just saw. If I click the little plus button, browse all connectors, right? You've got all of that there, and you can connect so much and get so much done. Really, really important to explore this. Don't worry, we'll do a deep dive into each one of these topics. This is just a whistle-stop tour to get you a bit of an idea, get you curious, get you testing things out, and then we'll keep diving in together as we go. I'm going to come back to the chat here as well. As I showed you, if you press the // that actually opens up the options there. These are the same options that you can get when you click down there. And then you can choose your model. So you've got the most advanced model. You can use extended thinking. You can explore some of the other models there as well. And you can use voice, so you can chat to it, right? And you can click on some of these options down here. If I click the plus button, I can add files, take a screenshot. I can connect a project to this conversation. As you've seen, I've got all the proposal builders, exploration, etc., etc. I can add from Google Drive, and I can search. At the moment, you can just add Google Documents. You can't add slides or anything like that just yet. You can add from GitHub if you're building anything from there. And then you've got skills. As I've seen, you can connect a specific skill if you know you're going to use it. But generally, if you say you want to do something, you can mention the skill and it will do that. You've got your connectors there as well. As I've shown you, same situation, manage connectors, everything can be done in here. And you can change your style directly within here, and you can create and edit your style. So if I click on that, I can create my own custom style on how I want Claude to respond to me. And that can be anything from brutal honesty and sarcasm to straight to the point, no fluff, no nonsense. Okay, so you can build all of those things out. So really, really powerful what you can do. And then whenever you call a skill, whenever you call something like that, it's going to produce any one of those things there. So you see I've got the LLM visualization there. I can export that as HTML as well. I've got the mortgage calculator, which has now been opened up here, right? And then that's going to be a HTML. So if I download that and then I double click that, what you'll see is because it was made in the artifact, it came with all of the relevant styling, so it's much more accurate, and it's a HTML document. And actually, if you wanted to, you can host this on a domain really, really easily. So there's loads of really, really cool stuff that you can do directly within there. And this is the artifact that I meant earlier on. And you can create documents directly within here. You can ask it to create a Word document, slides, pretty much anything, within that kind of ecosystem can be developed. So if I click on there, I think that we did ask it to do some slides, so we can have a little look and see if it did that. There we go, AI governance presentation. Oh, excuse me. So it's gone and it's done that for me. So I've got that in our style. So again, this will probably need some refining, but it just gives you an idea of what's possible. Open it up within the artifact, and then I can go ahead and I can open that up as a Google Doc, or I can download it. And if I want to, I can even do things like add my logo. And then if I go ahead and upload our logo, so if I go into desktop, and then we've got all of our logos, SVG one. I can click add my logo, add it as an SVG or a PNG, whichever one it is, and then it's going to go ahead and it's going to upload that logo onto the document for me. Super duper easy. There really is no limits to what is possible now. Truly amazing platform, absolutely my favorite. I get the results that I want from this. I find it excellent at a lot of different things, and it's perfect for workflows. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what's possible. Again, we are not even scratching the surface. This is just an idea as what you can do. Please stay curious, go and test these things out. Let me know what specific videos and tutorials you want, and we will continue to build those out. Enjoy, and catch you on the next one.